Someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by
Mom, Dad, I'm in 8th grade now. Those years of peer pressure are way behind me. Right now, alcohol is the last thing on my mind. So please, don't have a real conversation with me about drinking. Like you said, I'm too young, right?
Real kids are curious about alcohol. 40% try it by the 8th grade. Start a real conversation at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. Talk early, talk often, get others involved. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is globalnewsforum.com.
Roll the tape.
It's time now for the Bean Soup Times radio show with your host, Toure Muhammad. Heard every Wednesday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on globalnewsforum.com. And now, your host.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, friends and family. This is Toure Muhammad. You're listening to the Bean Soup radio show. And, man, we have a vainglorious day today. We are so happy to be on the top side of the earth, fighting and kicking to survive and strive, because that's what it's all about. We got to be on top of our game, whether it is mentally, physically. You know, I'm a little what's the word? Rambunctious. You know, I worked out this morning with my martial arts instructor, the Grand Master Anthony Muhammad. So I'm ready to, you know, flip somebody or do something, a swift kick. Like we say, don't hurt nobody unless they ask for it. No, it is a wonderful day today. We are so happy to be here, right here on 72nd and South Shore at globalnewsforum.com. This is the premier, the hottest online radio station. I'm telling you, we are doing big things, and I'm happy to be here and to be a part of it. Now, let me give you a preview of the show today, because if you haven't told a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, this is the time to tell them to tune in to the Bean Soup radio show, and you will get entertained, you will get edified, you will get inspired, and I guarantee you, you will be empowered one way or the other after this show, like so many that we do. So first, we're going to have Lisa George. She does our celebrity report. She has a wonderful update for you today. And then we're going to be talking with Pepper Miller. She is the author of this book called Black Still Matters in Marketing. And she talks about the importance and the value of, I know some people talk about a post-racial society since we have a black president, but if that was the case, then you wouldn't say he's the black president. You would just call him the president. It wouldn't be such a big deal that he was the first black president. But marketing, and especially when it comes to communicating and reaching out, communities, whether they are along racial lines, whether they are along political lines, all of that still matters, because we are so unique, and we often find people who think like us. And if you want to talk about a post-racial society, then I dare you to say that we all think alike. Black folks do not think like anybody else. And nobody else thinks like us. So it's important for that marketing piece. Oh, then we're going to be talking about, now look, I told you, I gave you a little idea last week. I'm going to say it, I'm going to whisper about it, because this is a movement, and all movements start off real small. And they start off with just an idea and somebody with the spirit and the desire to make it happen. And so this, I'm going to start off with tomorrow. Tomorrow is like the first. This is like a crescendo. We're going to first, tomorrow, I'm talking about a nationally recognized guru in business and networking and relationship building in our community. This brother has built relationships and helped people to the tune of something like $500 million. He's helped people make deals and build their business. We're talking startups. We're talking about established businesses. George Frazier is going to be in the building tomorrow, not here at Global News Forum, but here in Chicago. And we're going to be talking to him. He's going to be giving tips and ideas on wealth building, on success. And we have the wonderful young lady who helped, really is the spearhead to bring him here. She met him last year I don't know if it was the first meeting, but she did connect with him last year. And I don't know how she did it, but she used her skill, her tenacity, her intelligence to get him to come here to talk to Black Chicago about building a business. And we actually have her here in the studio, Sister Hattie McCutcheon. How are you doing?
Brother, I am so fantastic. Thank you so much.
Great. I didn't mean to catch you in the middle of a drink. Water. She's drinking water, not that kind of drink.
Thank you.
But yeah, so we can talk for a few seconds, and then we're gonna at the end of the show talk about in detail this George Frazier coming here on tomorrow, and then the cash mob on this weekend. The cash mob. You know, I know some people have heard the term mob, and I know we've associated mob with lynch mobs and all that kind of stuff, but this is a different kind of mob. And for all you who would talk about, oh, we're going to change we're going to make this N-word a term of endearment. This is a better word to make like that. And I'll tell you, when you hear what we're going to do, it's going to blow your socks off. So, but Hattie, how are you doing?
Brother, I'm fantastic.
Good. And you are a quiet storm.
Ashe.
You are making some things happen in Chicago, and I don't know if people even really are gonna understand until after this weekend just what you were able to do with both of these events. Tomorrow with George Frazier, and he's gonna be here from 6 to 9, 4622 South King Drive at the what's the name of the church?
It's Mount Pisgah.
Mount Pisgah. See, I keep pronouncing it wrong,
Mount
so I want you to say
it. It used to be the old Martin Luther King Center, but it's Mount Pisgah.
Great. So he's going to be here, and then we're going to talk about this cash mob, which is going to be May 19th on Malcolm X's birthday. We are going to gather. This is a pay it forward, so don't think about in terms of what you can come and get out of it. This is a day to come and spend money with an incredible, a qualified Black business who does something for our community that we should all recognize and respect, and that is help us with our health. I've been going there for at least 15 years, and they've grown. They were in a smaller area. They moved next door to a larger location, Kudu's Health Food Store. We're going to go there and spend $20 with this beautiful Black-owned business. And just wait till you meet Joyce. She's a wonderful young lady. So, all right, and then for the rest of the show, we're going to go quickly into the celebrity report, but we're going to talk about this, there's a Brillo pad, right? There's a Brillo pad in London that somebody made, and it wasn't somebody that looked like us, but the Brillo pad does look like us. It looks like Diana Ross, and her body is the handle, her head is the Brillo pad. And it's not even an attempt. It says Diana Ross Brillo pad on it. And they're selling this in London. So we're gonna talk about that. But I have a different perspective than what most people have been talking about it. They're in an uproar. My question is, why are we making our own Brillo pads? Why are we making a lot of things and producing much more? So, but anyway, we're gonna get into that and a few things. A lot of stuff happening on the website. But let's go into the celebrity report and talk to Lisa George about some great things that are happening with celebrities. We want to highlight good things that celebrities are doing. We don't get down with the whole gossip and who's messing around with who, but anything that we can find a highlight of good that folks are doing, and we want to do that. And our celebrities deserve some kind of recognition for doing that great stuff. So with no further ado, Lisa George.
That's what my son says sometimes. Hello. This is Lisa connecting you to George with another Bean Soup Time Celebrity Philanthropy Update. Where in the world is time going? Can you believe that May is almost over? And these up and down temperatures? What is our summer going to be like? Well, I vote that we simply enjoy each day and whatever the weather brings us. Today, I am highlighting the philanthropic efforts of reggae icon Ziggy Marley. I don't have to tell you anything that you already don't know about this icon. The first child of the legendary Bob Marley, one can only smile when you think of all that he is and all that he has done as an artist. This man uses his voice, literally, to enlighten listeners about the social injustices of the world, and the lyrics in his songs, if nothing else, makes you stop and think. I'm always saying that singers are poets, and for those who choose to, they can and do definitely play their role as humans to tell stories, as Kanye Das has been quoted saying, from a situational perspective. Each one of us has at least one song that we can say played a pivotal role in our lives, helped us through a challenging situation, and if nothing else, lifted our spirits when in despair. That is giving back, isn't it? We all have our gifts, and some artists, as I always say, use theirs for just that. But I digress. Ziggy Marley, he set up the Urge organization to help children in Jamaica, Africa, and throughout the world, so basically everywhere. Urge seeks to make enduring contributions to the lives of disadvantaged children and acts to support education, health, the environment, in efforts to improve the communities where children live and grow. As aren't they our future? The organization sees their efforts as mutually beneficial, so they've been quoted saying, "The more we can give to them, the more enlightened we become." Because we do get when we give, don't we? Some of their highlighted activities include raising funds, collecting and donating needed items such as clothing, toys, school supplies, food, providing assistance and resources to enable communities to develop and self-sustain, raising awareness, partner with artists, celebrities, brands, and charitable organizations to draw attention to the needs of communities in need. Wow. As a person who believes in taking care of the earth, I love Urge's tree planting at one of its recipient schools. The organization is so involved in the school and remains active in the provision of supplies, teachers, and a nurturing environment. There is so much more to say about Urge, such as a dental clinic, health fairs, and just so much more, but I will let you have the pleasure of checking them out on the web. Ziggy once designed a shirt for Fashion Against AIDS to spread awareness about HIV and AIDS. This is a cause very dear to my heart, and he's an honorary member of the board of directors for Little Kids Rock, an organization that provides free musical instruments and free lessons to children in public schools throughout the United States. Lending his name to help bring attention to this great cause is beyond awesome, because as we all know, music programs are being cut everywhere. He's also supported One Love, Amnesty International, Exploring the Arts, Population Services International, and Youth AIDS. In December, at one of his shows, he collected used and new books for the school in Jamaica. In 2012, he hit that ground running. Oh my gosh, he's busy. The Grammy-winning musician, actor, artiste, activist, and humanitarian has been so busy with projects spanning human rights, the environment, and entertainment. In his role as activist, Marley is one of the spokespersons for Amnesty International. This musician contributed the cover version of Blowin' in the Wind on the Bob Dylan tribute album Chimes of Freedom for the Human Rights Agency's 50th anniversary celebration. Human rights. He's also worked for the cause that addresses GMO. Now that is something I just learned about, and I'm going to steal some extra time to tell you about GMO. GMO stands for genetically modified food, and it has entered the natural food system without the consent of the American public. Species that are not sexually compatible are now genetically manufactured in labs, and the new seeds are then owned by a single patent holder who has taken control of the system, the food system. Created insecticide inside the cells of the plants has created a new era of farming that has led to a genetically altered food that has never been tested for human health, yet has been moved to our grocery shelves without notice. As awareness increases, such as to you who's listening today across the globe, these new foods are now banned in 36 countries, while Americans, unfortunately, are unaware of the GMO component in our food due to federal regulations that have refused to label GMO foods. I wouldn't have even known about this if it wasn't because of my being a Ziggy Marley fan who actively follows his philanthropic efforts. This is just again to say why I love celebrity philanthropy. Their name brings awareness so many times to serious issues. So take a moment to learn about GMO and how it affects you. Now, I know that some of you listeners are philanthropic at heart, so what have you been up to lately? For those of you who know someone that is doing great philanthropic deeds, I always say feel free to nominate them, and we will gladly acknowledge that wonderful person on Bean Soup Times. Oh, if you want to nominate yourself, please do that too. For those of you who want to do something but don't know where to start, take a look around you. There are tons of neighborhood soup kitchens, food pantries, hospitals, schools, nonprofit, and much more. If you still can't find anything, do a search online and see what possibilities there are for some exciting philanthropic efforts. Well, now that I have stolen enough of your time, I'm going to be signing off. Do enjoy the rest of your day. But first, finish listening to Toure Muhammad. This is Lisa connecting you to George, reporting for Bean Soup Times.
All right. That's what's up, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the Bean Soup Show. That was Lisa George talking about, of course, what celebrities are doing. So we thank her so much. We really appreciate her. And, man, we were sitting here just having a fireside chat because that part was recorded. But I'm telling you, we need... You know, I know the camera's in the other room, but we've been in here. You couldn't hear it anyway, but, man, we getting down over here. So, man, you all tune in and just pay close attention as we get into the rest of the show. We're going to go quickly into the you got to hear from Pepper Miller. She's an incredible young lady who has been doing great research into marketing to black people, and she just wrote a book, Black Still Matters. So let's check out her interview.
All right, listen up, friends and family, brothers and sisters. Once again, we bring incredible, just wonderful people to the Bean Soup radio show. And our next guest is, she has done an incredible amount of work and research and gives insight to help counsel, advise Fortune 500 companies. And she really understands the consumer, the black consumer, in ways that can help anybody who is in business be able to understand, how to reach their target audience. And so she's done one book. She already co-authored one book, What's Black About It? Insights to Increase Your Share of Change in African American Market. And she is back with a new book that really helps to raise your cultural IQ. And I'm going to let her talk about that more, but we want to welcome Pepper Miller to the Bean Soup radio show. How are you doing?
I'm well, and I'm happy to be part of your Bean Soup program, Trey, and thank you so much for inviting me, and hello to your audience. It's great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, well, we thank you. We're definitely happy to have you here. And anytime we can get the ear, or should I say, get some pearls of wisdom from someone who can counsel big business, we want to be able to listen and hear. And you definitely done some great work. I know you've been around. Tell us about how you got started with the Hunter Miller Group and what your company does.
Oh, sure. The Hunter Miller Group is a market research and strategic planning firm. A lot of people, they don't hear the research part; they hear the market part, and they think, "Oh, she does marketing." But we do research studies for these large corporations to help them understand Black America. And because if you understand Black America, then you can better connect with them in a positive, that's what we're going for, as well as a relevant way. So we do studies like focus groups and ethnographies, which ethnographies is really observation. You're observing people in their natural environment. But people often confuse that term with in-home interviews, so we do that. Shop-alongs and online studies, online surveys, one-on-one interviews. It's just a variety of different types of research methods. And it's been because of these methods and I've had the opportunity to listen and talk to thousands and thousands of African Americans and understand their needs and their hopes and their desires and their wishes. And what I've observed over the years, and I started in 1985, is that the messages that are prepared for this segment, oh my God, so don't necessarily match. I think it's a little too loud in here. Toure?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but my husband is I have my office mate. He's in here, and can you hear him in the background? Is that a problem? I
can't.
Hope you can edit that out or something else. So sorry.
That's all right.
So I've noticed over the past few years that, since I started, that the messages and sometimes the products and images that a lot of these corporations create do not match these needs and the desires of the black community. They don't really understand us. Many of them, they don't understand us enough, I think. And I think that's really, really important. I learned about market research when I worked at J. Walter Thompson, Chicago, which was at one time the largest advertising agency in the world and the second largest in Chicago. It no longer exists. But my last job there, I worked in office management and planning, and it was a great job. You never had the same day twice. And some of my responsibilities were to, even though we were not part of advertising team, we were part of running the office, but my responsibilities were to work with the interior designers and architects, because we were always building out space in planning. And I had a $3.5 billion, not billion, but $1 million budget to manage. And I had to research cost-saving alternatives, Pepper-looking. Do you think we should have our own jets, the fleet of jets, instead of flying these executives first class? What's the pros and cons to that? Should we have our own J. Walter Thompson security versus going outside and having a security? We need to take the whole 30th floor down and create for the creative department. They need to be on the entire floor. What is it that they need to do their jobs effectively? What kind of furniture do they need? What kind of space design do they need? So it involves interviewing people and research, of course, and coming up with recommendations. And I absolutely love that part. And so I wanted to go into the research department. They sent me to Northwestern to a special program called the 4A's program. It was like 13 weeks. It was equivalent to like a master's program in 13 weeks. It was unbelievable, where you just didn't have any sleep. It was a great program. But nonetheless, I did not get in J. Walter Thompson's research department, and I was crushed. I grew up there. I started there as a young person and grew up there, and I was absolutely crushed that I didn't get into the department. And one of the executives said they continue to see you as Little Pepper. Anyway, I left. My partner and I left. We were researching business options for us. One of the executives left J. Walter, called me, said, "Hey, Pepper, I got a research project. I heard that you had your own business and you were doing research. Can you do this study for me?" And I said, "Absolutely." I didn't know what the hell we were doing. But we did it. We started, and I've been doing this. I've been doing it ever since. Now, I showed up to do research studies once I got on my own. My partner and I, when we had this company, didn't work out, so I continued it on my own. I would show up to these large companies to do research projects, and they looked at this brown skin and said, "Hey, we don't have any black stuff." I'm like, "Who said anything about the black stuff?" So I immediately got pigeonholed into the black space, but I decided to own it. The only business I could get was business around doing research with black consumers, so that's the only thing that was in my portfolio. So I decided to own it and be the expert. And I included that into the mission statement. And my mission statement is to help corporations develop a deeper contextual understanding about black Americans. That's one of the things that we do, and everything that we do has to be about adding value to Black America, absolutely everything. So in our report, in the book, in the presentation, because society and marketers do not always see our value. They see everything else that is not of value to Black people, and they tend to embrace that, which becomes a stereotype. So my mission is about breaking the stereotype, and I've been on a mission ever since. And I always tell people, business owners, their mission and vision statement is so important. I remember I hired a consultant to help me take my business to another level, and that was one of the things that we spent a lot of time on. And I was like kind of upset. I was like, I need some strategies. I ain't got time for this mission and vision stuff. And she just ignored me, and we talked through it and worked through it, and it has been my beam, my light beam, to guide me, to help me get to where I need to go in terms of my goals, and it helps the Black community, and it helps the Black marketing community when these companies have a better vision of who we are as a people and as a community. So I embrace my Blackness in my work.
Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And I want people to do that more.
That's right. That's right. We need to embrace ourselves, and I definitely think that, you know, it goes across the board too. Yes. You know, there are many Black-owned businesses who need to respect and understand. Yeah. Well, you know, the cultural IQ of our community too.
Well, one of the things that's been happening is that Black America has changed. One of the I wrote the first book was Black About It because there was no cultural marketing book about Black America. Right. There was no cultural insight. But, well, I shouldn't say no, but the last one that was written was in 1976. And I wrote this book for corporations and then secondarily for our community so that the corporations can understand it. And sometimes, you know, we can be hard on each other. Black people, they're like, you know, why is she writing that book? We already know this. But the corporations don't. And a lot of it's kind of like, you know, learning your ABCs or your numbers before you do multiplication. There is a very basic information, but it's powerful information, I promise you, that helps these corporations. I spoke this last week at the Marketing to Women conference. It is the largest premier conference on marketing to women. It is a mainstream conference. And there are 200 to 300 people in the audience, and they're very high-level, senior-level people. I try to get more Black people in agencies to attend the conference because the insights that you learn from the people that present, which are mostly women, is incredible. Again, they're senior level people from all different, different companies. Like, for example, there was a senior VP from Wells Fargo. There were VPs from Harley Davidson. But the audience is 99.9% white. And it's like that every year, and this is their 8th year. It's expensive. It's probably $1,700 to get in. It's very expensive. The networking is phenomenal. But the information that you get from these presentations and workshops, it just opens your thinking. It opens your mind to a whole different level of thinking. But when I talk to this audience, I talk to them about Black women, and I said, in order to understand Black women, you have to understand Black America. So I open my presentation, as I do many clients, talking about this woman who wrote this incredible book, What She's Not Telling You. And the book is about women who tell whole truth and half truth in research about what they buy. And it's a really interesting premise. And I know the author, Mary Lou Quinlan, well. She is the darling of Madison Avenue. She was been a CEO of many ad agencies and many companies, and she has written several books on marketing to women. But she talked on page 18, early on in her book, she talks about how looking at women's differences is the wrong way to go. And that's not what you want to do today. And that is the mindset of marketers in society. People don't want to look at their differences. And a lot of our young people don't want to look at their differences because people are people, they say. We're all from the human race. It's as if the word different is a bad word. And it is wrong to look at people's differences when you judge them. But different is not sufficient. Looking at differences is a huge opportunity. It is a simple idea. Different is not sufficient. But it is a big idea. And it's a big idea that we're not talking about.
Right.
Because it provides the opportunity, number one, when you look at people's differences, without judgment, you begin to understand who they are. And if you understand who someone is, and then you're not judging them. And if you're understanding them and not judging them, then you are connecting with them. You can have an opportunity to connect with them in a relevant way. And if you're connecting them in a relevant way, particularly if you're connecting your brands with them, you should definitely see a positive effect on your bottom line. So this whole idea of not looking at people's differences is a big mistake. And black people, even though we've made tremendous gains in terms